Hey everybody, it's Eric, 80s Horror Man here. I wasn't sure if I was going to do another 31 Days of Horror like I did last year, where I review one movie one day to a time. But since I did it last year, I figured why not just give it give it another try. So I figured, what the hell, we're doing another 31 Days of Horror. See how this one turns out. So anyway, welcome to my 31 Days of Horror Day One, where I'll be reviewing one movie one day to a time. This movie, I'm actually going to be doing a review on because I love this movie so much. It's one of my favorites, and I have the soundtrack for it in my collection because I love the soundtrack. I love the music from this film. I've seen this movie ever since I was a kid. We used to have it on VHS. Then, when I was in my teens, I was on a search for it, looking to find a way if I could watch this movie again, like going from video store to video store to see if I could find it. Then when it finally came out on DVD back in 2004, but I was like so glad that this movie finally got released on Blu-ray a couple years ago, and I had to get this movie because, like I said, it's one of my favorites of all time, and that's Chopping Mall. This movie is so much fun to watch. You can't say nothing bad about Chopping Mall, where you got three high-tech robots that are supposed to be advanced security guards to end up going berserk after being jolted by a lightning bolt and then terrorize a group of teens trapped in the mall overnight. And these teens are trying to have a little party in a mattress store after hours, but that's when things end up going bad. There's some amazing good kills in this movie that I end up liking. I mean, there's two favorite kills that I like in this movie. One is Barbara Crampton's character where she gets burnt to death, and apparently that's like one of my favorite tracks of the music to this film, called Burning Terror. And the other is where Nick Siegel's character falls to his death from the third floor down to the first. And that's also another her favorite track that's on the soundtrack of Chop 'Em All, called Running Rampant. But I love the main theme music to the film, and I love the ending music to the film. Um, so there's nothing wrong with Chop 'Em All. It's a cheesy 80s B movie, but this movie is just so much fun, and this is like one of Jim Wynorski's most recognizable titles that gets mentioned quite a bit. And I mean, what can you say about Chop 'Em All? I mean, this movie is just so much fun. I mean, what more can you ask for? Where you got high tech robots that's got these little pinchers, little tasers, and laser eyesights, and end up going after you on their 5 foot long tank treads. So we're Chop 'Em All. I definitely highly recommend it, and that for people to watch this movie who hasn't seen it. But if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But if you have not seen this, I highly recommend to check this movie out because this movie is so much fun to watch. The soundtrack is very fun. That's why I have the soundtrack in my collection because, like I said, I love the music from this movie, and you know, this is something I'm definitely a big fan of. That's why I also have the shirts as well, because you can't say nothing bad about Chopping Mall because there's like I said, it might sound a little silly and stuff, but it's just a cheesy 80s B movie that is just so much fun to watch. So, without further ado, for a rating, I would give this movie, out of a possible 10, I would give this movie 9.5 out of 10. So, Chop 'Em All, highly recommend to check out this movie if you have not seen this. All right, guys. So, what would you guys think of this review? If you seen this movie, please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't, go check it out. And stay tuned for some more 31 Days of Horror. So, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more videos. Later.